video is about leading the horse and allowing him to loop around you or move around when he spooks, especially in show Arabian contests, beauty shows and so on. When they lead the horse in beauty shows, especially Arabian horses, the horse is energetic and he wants to bolt and wants to play and so on. So they allow the horse to show you his body conformation or body type or body parts and so on by giving him a loose rein, and he moves around the person leading him. In that show, it's all about the beauty of the horse. I'm showing you the movement of the horse. So the more he bucks, the more he rears, the more he loops around you and moves around you, the better it is for the judges to see the horse's body conformation, like he's playing in the paddock alone and doing these moves alone. Even though, in my opinion, it's more beautiful to allow him to do it alone, but that's just, let's say, different opinions. But that idea doesn't work with a race horse, flat racing horse, flat racing horse, marathon horse, endurance riding horse, show jumping horse, dressage horse, and so on. You want to control the horse in leading in the same manner or way you are going to control him when you ride him. A show horse, especially Arabian, is just for showing. Usually you're not planning to ride him, and if you ride him, you're not planning to control him. You ride him in a closed area for a picture or a video, and that's it. But when you ride a horse in a real ride, racing, jumping, dressage riding, pleasure riding, and so on, you want to control the horse in riding. You plan to control the horse when you ride him. How can I control the horse in riding if I'm not controlling him in leading? Now, most other ways of riding, even the correct ones, even when they lead the horse, yes, they control the horse much more than show horses or beauty contests, but they control him in normal situations. Just like I said in the previous video or the other video, in real disagreement, most ways of riding get exposed, especially when you break or start the horse. Most ways of riding, even the good ones, when they are leading a horse, especially Arabian horses, because they have more energy, they are hotter, spookier, and so on. They spook easier than other horses, or they spook more. When you're leading the horse, when the horse spooks from something, right or left or behind him, usually, most ways of riding, while you're leading the horse, you will see the horse looping around him and cantering. He lunges around you, even though you are not the one lunging him, which means the horse is completely not stopping when you wanted him to stop. Now, yes, with time you stop wanting him to stop because you cannot stop him, but in the beginning, me, you, and 1,000 other riders, when we are leading the horse while he's standing next to us or while we are walking, if he spooks from something in the right side or the left side or behind us, all of us want the horse to stop, or at least keep walking in the way we want him to walk. None of us want the horse to bolt or buck or rear up and so on. Most of us, he will loop around. If he cannot rear or bolt or buck, he will loop and move in a circle around you while you are leading him, which means the horse took off. You were not able to control him and get what you wanted. That means when you ride the horse, he is expected to do the same exact thing in riding. The question is, can you actually allow him to do that in riding as much as you do it in leading? When the horse spooks in leading, he circles around him 5-6 times. The fear is gone. He stops, looks at it, and moves away. With me, in the same exact situation, in this way of riding, he spooks, he stops in his place, he looks at it, then moves on. Both of them moved on. The first one was able to do what he wanted. Then when he got used to the object or the scary thing, he moved on. This one wasn't able to do what he wanted, which means you controlled him. The other guy did not control him. So when you ride the horse and he spooks in riding, first time spooking in riding from a car, from horses and so on. With me, he will do what he did in leading. He was afraid in leading, this is what happened. He was afraid in riding, this is what happened. He stopped and looked at it instead of bolting away, rearing up away, bucking away, or looping around. While in leading with them, he reared up or bucked or looped, so he's expected to do it in riding. The difference is, when he does it in leading, all they do is just give him the rope. If you are leading the horse with 6 meters or 7 meters rope, it's not that big of a deal giving the horse the end of the rope and allowing him to do whatever he wants. Then he will stop. You are on the ground. How can you do that when you are on his back, even though you are riding with a saddle? If you do it with a bare back, it's impossible. That's why they ride with a saddle, most of them. But even with the saddle, it's impossible to allow the horse to do it as much as he did it in leading and riding. Yes, you will turn the horse. Instead of allowing him to bolt or buck, you turn the horse around himself in a clear order. But I'm not talking about you turning him. I'm talking about the horse being afraid. So he turns around you in leading. If he does that in riding, you will fall down. You will lose your balance. Or if he bucks or rears up or bolt, you will lose your balance. So unconsciously, you stopped him from doing something that you allowed him to do in leading. Even though I allowed you to buck or bolt or rear up or loop around me in leading when you spooked, right now when it's a tougher situation, when I am on your back, I'm not allowing you to do these things. Of course, the horse is going to say no. That's why he bucks more, rears up more, bolts more. So the idea of saying, a lot of ways of riding say, as long as the horse's feet or legs are moving, you are safe. I say the complete opposite. As long as the horse's legs or feet are not moving, you are safe. But the idea is that most of ways of riding believe it's impossible to completely make the horse stand still when he's afraid, especially Arabian horses. They believe if he's moving anyways, at least he's not rearing up or bucking. To buck, the horse must put the weight on the forelegs, then buck. Put the weight on the forelegs, then rear up or bolt or whatever. So if he's moving, you're not falling, but you're not controlling. But if I say I controlled him, so he's not moving, and when he stood in his place, he's not rearing up, he's not bucking, and so on. That means the rule is completely going to change. As long as the horse's legs or feet are not moving at all, you are totally safe because you are totally controlling the horse. So, a lot of things you allow the Arabian horse, especially Arabian horses, in competition or pleasure riding. I'm not talking about beauty contests or show Arabians. He's expected to do some moves in a show for beauty contests for the judges. After he's done, the person leading him will give him to someone to handle the horse, and that's it. They don't care about what the horse is going to do in riding because they're not planning to ride him in real situations. That's an exception. But any other field that involves controlling the horse, even pulling wagons or carriages, you need the horse to be under control, real control. Real control means directing, stopping the horse, moving him back, keeping your balance on his back when he wants to make you lose your balance, and so on. If you allow the horse to do something in leading a lot for a long time, then in riding you know you cannot do that. That means you're teaching the horse something wrong. I'm teaching you to do something in leading, and I'm preparing you for riding. That's why I'm leading you. And I know that that thing I'm doing with you in leading cannot be done in riding. I will not allow it to happen in riding. That means you're just expecting the horse to completely be out of control. You know it's going to happen, it's just a matter of time. Here it's the opposite. Every single thing I'm doing in leading, I plan to do in riding. That's why I succeed in doing it in riding, because I succeeded in doing it in leading. So, horses looping around you, or bucking, or rearing up, or bolting when they spook, a little bit, for a couple of seconds, then stopping is more than okay in leading, especially with a long rope in an open place, or a safe ground or place for you and for the horse. But for the horse, it means he said no and succeeded. A horse who said no and succeeded will give you a bigger no, a harder no, a more dangerous no when you are on his back, and he will succeed more, because it's harder for you to control him when you are on his back than it is to control him when you are on the ground.